In this video, I'm going to take a mid-20 handicap golfer and I'm going to see if I can improve their driving distance and clubhead speed in just one session. So the purpose of this is to get the golfer warmed up, hitting some golf balls, just to get relaxed, to get comfortable, and for me to start to get some observation of how the individual hits the ball, creates their movements, creates their power. So in any normal fashion, very simple, we're just going to start off with some wedges, work the way through the bag, let the golfer get loose, let the golfer get comfortable, and then move forward from there. Okay. So something I'll always ask the golfer is what their own understanding is of their own golf swing, to understand their perception, what they think they do versus the reality. So first question is, what are you trying to do with your golf swing that helps you hit the ball better?
From recording my own swing and actually like watching it back, I know when I set up is I always come back, so the club comes very low when I go into my backswing. So just coming higher so I can get a clearer path, straighter path going through, rather than coming through at angles.
So that is just a really simple insight to me, but also gives me a greater understanding of what the player is trying to do.
That's pretty standard.
Some things I've already started to notice. So question would be, with a wood and a driver, what is the bad shot that you tend to see?
So I always pull it left.
Always pull it left, okay.
Yeah.
Flight, high, low, medium?
Generally quite low.
Yeah.
Yeah, never really get a lot of height on the woods.
Okay, so straight away from ball flight, we get a picture of what's going on at impact, and we can correlate that to some of the movements that comes before it. A really key thing to understand here is this golfer is looking for greater distance and understanding how they can hit the driver a little bit better and apply more swing speed. Obviously, with being a high handicap, there's some technical areas that will just help with start line and direction and strike. So there's two components here. However, if we can improve swing speed with the right physical movement mechanics and those biomechanics, often we see an improvement in strike and start line direction because they work hand in hand. Not always, but longer term process, you'd see a bit more structure. For the purpose of this session, we're just going to keep focused on that swing speed and distance. And that shot you've hit there, that's tend to be what you sort of see, isn't it? Yeah. There's the bad shot.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take a couple of videos from myself so I can just slow this down, get a bit of a clearer understanding of the movement mechanics. So swing speed is consistently coming out in the mid-90s, so a decent amount of swing speed, but the carry is nowhere near optimal. So we know launch, delivery of the club, and how you're creating that speed is starting to show up. And I always get a video from behind. This is one of the best angles for seeing how the body is moving and in different detail, and something all golfers should look at.
That was actually quite a good hit.
That was actually the high 90s, so there's plenty of clubhead speed in there, but I think there's also way more that can be delivered and put into the golf ball. What we're going to do now, I'm going to just assess these golf swings, and I'm going to have a look at a couple of key physical parameters with how Dave moves, because Dave's presenting some interesting postural control, and we just need to understand, is that down to more physical limitation, or is that just purely that movement capacity, understanding of how to move the body? Take this golf club and just place it across your waist, and then just put one foot in front, one foot behind, so your back foot's on your tiptoe, nice and tall, feel like that's connected, and in a controlled manner, I want you to rotate as far as you can both directions. So we're just looking at some really basic hip movement and whether Dave is able to rotate the hip correctly and how much range of motion is in there. This isn't the be-all and end-all. We can cheat these exercises or these tests, but it does give us a little bit of an indication. And I just want you to turn as far as you can that way for me. Where do you feel that? Any pulling, any tightness?
No, just physically can't turn anymore.
Okay, so that's sort of end range of motion. Same on the other side for me then, just swap legs.
That's definitely glute.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, feet together, knees together. So we're just going to measure some thoracic rotation, how that rib cage can rotate, and just seeing how far that is. So feet together, knees together, turn as far as you can. Same with the other side. So the first thing I've noticed is how Dave addresses the ball through the lower half is certainly having an impact on how the hips are able to move, and then that limits how the upper body has space. So a lack of width in the golf swing, in my view, seems to be appearing through something that's going on with the lower body and the lack of what we class as hip internal rotation, which is how you turn right-handed golfer into the backswing and then into the follow-through. And there seems to be something where it's quite limited there that we can change in setup to aid that. We're just going to use a speed stick. I'm going to use two different weights, the light one and the heavy one. I'm just going to see how Dave can create maximal speed with not having a ball there. This is going to be essentially the ball position, that T-peg. You're going to then put your left foot in line with this ball, put your other foot in line with this. Okay. And then secondly, I want you to try and open those feet up. So what we've done here straight away is just widen the base, widen the stance, and opened up the feet. And I'll explain in a minute why that is the case. So we're just going to do 6 swings as fast as you can with that same width of stance. Good, 3 more. So these are all around 100. Consistent. Okay, 107, that was a good one. So why Dave's having a rest? Because he's doing quite a bit of speed work. Obviously that requires a lot of energy. We need rest to get quality. So a lot of amateur golfers, typically sort of higher handicappers who might be new to the game or a misunderstanding of how you can move your body to create the speed. And when we talk about speed, it's not necessarily about trying to create high speed in relation to someone else. It's about how you create your sort of maximal speed. So your force production. Is golfers see the swing as very a rotational movement. However, we know through biomechanics ground reaction forces that a lot of speed comes from how you can push in and out the ground, so an up and down motion. But this takes a lot of real understanding and awareness and ability to do. So we see golfers will essentially create a lot of their speed through what we class as lateral motion. So essentially pulling the arms down very hard and laterally moving towards the target. Now to move laterally, we will end up often having quite a narrow feet. So we've got, you see straight away, is I can move my hips side to side very easy from that base. If I go quite wide, almost exaggerated, it's a lot harder to create sideward motion, which would force me to get more rotational motion. And straight away, when we've set that wider stance with the speed stick, observing from different angles, the golfer Dave's was automatically able to create much better hip movement. So we're going to now use a heavy stick. So this is where I just want to see how Dave can create speed with something heavier rather than just being able to pull his arms down fast. He might automatically work out how to create more momentum on the stick with the body. Is there anything you feel you're doing differently there with the heavier stick? Do you feel like you have to move any different to create this power, that speed?
Yeah, as I come down, sort of trying to push a little bit, so almost like a mini jump.
Okay.
As I come through.
Yeah. Any reason for that?
Just feel like you can get more power, sort of like it just brings the club up more because it's heavier.
Okay, really, really good. So automatically, intuitively, Dave's, the heavier object, which is much heavier than a golf club, is intuitively going to create more momentum, i.e. that speed outcome. I'm going to have to move my body slightly differently to get that higher. So secondly, what we've also done, and this is why I'm using the speed stick, is obviously we've got the feet much more externally rotated. Now Dave presented with one of the tests that physical inability to turn too much range of motion through internal rotation. So opening up the feet automatically gives the hip joint a bit more access to create that internal rotation. Whereas if the feet are arrow straight, it's very difficult to actually get more range of motion without kind of compensating and potentially swaying. So just trying to create a bit more open stance and a bit wider stance, something very simple but working with his natural anatomy, essentially gives a bit more rotational freedom through the hip. So I want you to just hit 3 more with this red stick. So the red stick numbers showed a very similar speed output to the light stick, which is the green stick. Now, if we've got a light stick, a light implement, in theory, if we apply the same amount of force to the light one versus the heavy one, we'll always create more speed with the lightest one. Whereas Dave actually presented equal amount of speeds with both sticks, which was similar to driver. So we know straight away that you can get way more clubhead speed with the actual driver, but the heavier implement means you have to move your body differently rather than that very lateral pulling and level motion. Okay, so you said something interesting, Dave, that you said in order to create the power with a heavier stick, you felt like you had to jump.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you used to jump, so if I show this just face on, as I'm coming down, so from this position, I've had to come down, the club's come down vertically, the body's lowered into the ground, and your feeling is jumping, okay, so the body is lifting up off the ground as a feeling and actually as a biomechanical motion. Where is the grip of the club traveling?
So that's going to move upwards.
It's going to move more vertical, okay, so it's going to come more up, so that lead shoulder is going to come more up, the grip of the club is going to come more up, and what will that mean with the club head? Well, that club head, when it's coming into delivery with impact, is it hitting more up on the ball or more down?
It's going to hit more up.
Yeah, it's going to be hitting more up. Really simple, yeah? So if you hit more up with the driver, that's naturally going to get the driver launching higher. And if we can get the driver launching higher, that's obviously going to get more carry. Very simple. Your tendency, as you said at the beginning, is you hit it quite low and quite left. A quick demonstration to what that means for the viewer is if the club is going, the ball is going low and left, we know the club is likely hitting down on the ball and in a closed manner. So I'm hitting more of an iron type swing with a driver versus a driver type motion. With the move Dave's talking about, that lifting up almost, we can see how that actually brings the attack angle up through the ball and the face stays a little bit more open. So we almost are going to get that hitting up and through the ball, which is going to help launch it. I'm going to ask you to do 3 swings with that red for me. And I want you to focus on, you're going to try and almost hold the swing here and create that jumping motion. And now drive. Good. Now can we create that movement a bit more by pushing out of the lead side, so your left leg, so you're pushing. What you'll see there is how that left hip, by creating the jump motion, you can see how it's fully rotating open and we've got a much higher finish. So we're creating a lot more vertical force. And we're going to actually attempt to hit off the tee. Now if you top this, that's okay. We're not trying to necessarily hit a good golf shot. Excellent. Excellent, so really good hit that. So you can see straight away we're starting to now get a bit more vertical force. Now the interesting thing straight away there is you've got nearly 90 mile an hour clubhead speed. And that's with you basically doing a half swing and pausing, so there's no momentum. So you've created quite a lot of force there. Was the ball flight much higher?
A lot higher.
A lot higher, yeah.
Massively.
Okay, so we're now starting to see much higher ball flight and the ball going more to the right. So we're actually getting the opposite of what your normal shot is, and that's actually what we want to see, okay? Now the second thing is, because Dave's used to hitting very down on the ball with the driver, naturally the driver ball position gets quite far back and the hands get very far forward, so we almost get this trapped, crushing position. So we now got to change your setup a little bit to help with that, which it won't be easy. And I want you to show me if you want that club hitting up on the ball, what you want that to look like at impact with the club. So if you want it hitting up, would you want the hands forward or back? Yeah.
Back.
Yeah. So we want to see the hands more behind the ball, okay?
Yep.
And that allows you to have your spine angle a bit more tilted to the right. So that almost is promoting your hit up on the ball, where you're the opposite, where we've got that here and the spine angle tilted towards the left. That might feel really bizarre to you, but you've got to trust that. Okay, so you're just going to do that drill one more time. We're just going to hit 3 normal swings, but trying to feel like you create that same drill motion. So from here, use pushing and jumping. So I want you to do a full swing, but feel like you still keep that motion going, okay? So you've even just clipped the ground there, and yet we've got a dead straight drive with a much better launch from a miss hit. So if we wanted to hit more up on the ball, so even exaggerate it, if we used to exaggerate it, what could we do with a setup? Any ideas?
Slightly wider stance.
Yeah, slightly wider. So we've got to be careful not to go too wide, but a slightly wider could help. What about impact with a ball, where are you going to hit more up on it? Later in the downswing or earlier in the downswing?
So later, so like shift.
Good.
To the right.
Perfect. So just getting that ball position further forward. So left heel in line with the ball is a good reference point for you. That will feel a long way forwards because you're used to having it too far back. But this is where if you create that push through the lead side, you'll naturally just clip the ball. So we're seeing the ball go so much higher now, but the key is it's not going left, is it?
No.
So we're getting more carry, we're getting higher ball speed, clubhead speed has stayed the same. So we're getting more distance, that's objective number 1, that's ticked. Okay, we're just going to hit a couple more just to get that grooved in. So ball position, width for stance and feeling that upward move. So we're getting up to nearly 140 ball speed and that's comfortably going about 240 run out. Ever hit the driver this good?
No.
No.
No. Never hit this good, never hit this far. Normally I hit my 5-iron for further than hit my driver.
So that's the first shot you've hit low left and it's your highest clubhead speed. So any ideas what that tells you?
Not really, to be honest.
Okay, so keeping it simple, obviously a lot of information, is that shows that we've really just pulled very laterally with the arms down and hit that very low flat hit rather than getting that up. Okay, so the more down and up you hit, the more you'll hit that straighter. The more side to side you hit, the more you'll hit that low and left. So we've managed to achieve the objective of hitting the ball further through basically improving the launch and impact conditions. And we've done that through ground reaction forces. We've not done that by trying to manipulate anything with the club head through impact. So now we're going to try and increase that swing speed with the correct motion. And if we can, a mini objective is to try and get the ball speed over 140. If you can get the ball speed over 140, continuing to use down around 120, that's massive improvement. So we're going to use this fan, which is going to help Dave understand where the power can come from for a rotational sense and not a sliding sense. So what I want you to do here is you're going to do that exact same swing and you're just going to swing it. Okay, and that will feel like that's going to pull you out of position. But we're going to try and work on being able to swing hard and how that lead side, that vertical push, you see how I'm getting that elevated and controlling that motion, okay? Let's give that a go. So just swing it to begin with. This will feel really bizarre because you've never used it before, but then it will just give us an idea of how you coordinate. Good, do that again. Good. So what you'll see on video is that lead foot is really starting to push out the floor. You actually see it come off the ground and almost pull open. So you're getting that rotational and vertical force. And we can see the follow through is very up, higher, less round. Excellent. One more, but I want you to do this as hard as you can. Nice, look at that left foot, spinning, pulling open. Hit me 4 of those swings. This will feel bizarre. We want this speed over 100 with that exact same feel. So just feel it's all internal. It's not super technical. So feel it, but move with that energy, yeah? So we've got 101 mile an hour clubhead speed there with a heavy stick. Okay, and that's the number we're going to look for with driver, around 100 or plus. So it's cheating here because we're doing overspeed training, but let's just keep it going. Excellent. Just a bit worried about your stability, weren't you? Can't let it go now. It's only because you've just gone from that resistance to no resistance. Good, good. There we go. 101 again. One more. Come on, feel it. 100 again. Consistent. So now we're going to do that with driver and golf ball. Hard to get good quality strike and the clubhead speed, but with where Dave was half an hour ago to where he already is, we're nearly where we want to be. So initially was around about mid-90s clubhead speed, roughly.
Yeah, 95 pretty much every single shot.
Yeah, there was one that was about 97, but there's a few that was also low 90s. So anything over 100 is actually a massive jump. And actually with training this same routine, as well as maybe increasing a bit more hip mobility and being able to utilise that properly in the golf swing, I think you could comfortably get a bit of 105 mile an hour clubhead speed and play with that, okay? Let's see if we've got that 100 plus mile an hour clubhead speed, and then we'll see what the ball speed comes out at, okay? So you've got to let this go, okay? So ball position forward like that, let the hands feel like they sit behind, and then initiate that with a lead side, single leg jump. Club speed 99, ball speed 137, but we didn't get the launch we wanted, okay? So happy with some elements of that, but we need much more of that push, okay? Single leg jump. We're close to 2 objectives here. Excellent. Wow. So number 1, that's gone miles. Literally gone miles. We've got a 240-yard carry there. Ball speed 145. Okay, so that's at least a 10 mile an hour increase in ball speed. Clubhead speed 96. So we know if we can get the 100 mile an hour clubhead speed and make solid contact, you're going to actually be more like 150 ball speed. Wow. How far did you hit that?
Furthest I've ever hit golf ball in my life.
Okay, another good hit. This time 98 mile an hour and 142 mile an hour ball speed. Okay, so I'm going to say little rest now. We want to get that little objective 100 mile an hour clubhead speed and at least 140 ball speed, because that's basically showing us that the clubhead speed's good with the right movement, but also we're getting the launch and the consistency of strike. Realistically, if you hit the ball really well with 100 mile an hour, you should actually be close to 150, but we've got to stay within realistic aims here. Okay, so to finish off the session, half an hour, we're going to do 3 more swings. 100 mile an hour clubhead speed, over 140 ball speed minimum is what we're looking for. So Dave's going to do 2 rehearsals away from the ball, but we're looking for high energy, so it's not done lazy, because if we're going to do a jump, that single leg jump feel that Dave's organically self-discovered, like with any jump, we need to give some high energy. We wouldn't jump lazily. Excellent. Okay, let's go straight into it. Same movement.
Shocking.
99 mile an hour clubhead speed, just didn't get the hit. That's fine. We're gonna have a few of them. Just hit this one. Come on. Getting a bit of fatigue now, which is to be expected. We've already hit our goals in many ways. Cracking hit. Oh.
That's probably one of the best hits of my life.
145 ball speed. 145, 240 carry again. 98 mile an hour clubhead speed. So we're 2 mile an hour off, but it's consistent now. We're getting really consistent results. So that's not even a good hit, yet it's gone dead straight and still got some carry on it. That's 98 mile an hour again. Come on, Dave, you've got to find this as yourself. I'm going to give you 3 more if you want it. Oh, ball speed now is just consistently over 143 and dispersion is really good. Best you've ever hit driver?
Yeah, I normally hit driver 150-ish if I'm lucky. I can hit my 5-iron better than I can hit my driver.
You normally keep driver in the bag, don't you? Because you can't actually hit it.
I just play irons.
So this is like quite game changing. If Dave can get this out on the golf course, expect to see that handicap drop quick. 98. So what we're showing here is he's shown some swing speeds at 100, consistently in the high 90s. Fatigue now at the end of the session's kicked in, so we're probably going to struggle to get that 100 mile an hour consistently with a good hit, but the movement has improved the ball speed significantly. So pairing the two together, we know can happen. It's objectives essentially ticked. We now just need that next stage to see if we can consistently do both at the same time. 100 mile an hour clubhead speed. And relax. That's giving you insight into what a session and assessment looks like. It's not a golf lesson. We're looking at more speed biomechanics, how we can utilize the body effectively and better through the ground, but also taking into consideration the individual's key physical limitations, which again, we could go in even further. working on some physical limitations away from the course, some exercises, stretching, stability, strength, that sort of stuff will only help this. As Dave pointed out, he found the jump in motion, so working on more jumps in a training plan can only improve this. I think to improve that much within half an hour, imagine what you could do over a 6-month period. Any thoughts?
That's the best I've ever hit the driver. Furthest I've ever hit the driver, and most consistently I've ever hit the driver. Absolutely shattered. A very, very tough half an hour. But if that's the results after half an hour, then I'd love to see what happens in over a few months.
100%. So if you want access to some of the speed biomechanics drills I've got, you can click this link here. And if you want to understand why Dave felt the purpose of jumping, that jumping motion through the ball, creating more vertical force, you can watch this video next for more detail.